Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. This is Rob Mazak, psychic medium, and it is Tuesday, like I mentioned, around 2 p.m. my time. So I'm sure you guys will listen to this or view it at a lot of different times. But today is a beautiful sunny day. It is gorgeous outside. But what I wanted to do is take a few moments of your time and talk about something that just really struck my heart very strongly over the last couple of days. And this was due to an assignment I had for class. I'm a graduate student. Not sure why sometimes, but anyway, I am. And one of the assignments included watching some videos, and one of them was about the commencement speech that Steve Jobs gave sometime following his diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. And so he said some really strong and powerful things in there that I just wanted to kind of reiterate and talk about. And it just really turned me on my head, even though I've heard it before. You know, sometimes we hear things at just the right time and just the right space, and it means a whole lot more. Sort of like listening to a CD of somebody singing a song, favorite artist, but then when you go to the concert and you hear the backstory, then you hear the song, it means so much more, right? And so kind of the same thing. Never met Steve Jobs, but I wish I could have. He was quite an amazing entrepreneur. Anyway, he really began by talking about the fact that, connecting our dots to move forward is really about looking at the experiences we've had in the past and really trusting that all the experiences that we've had in the past will somehow connect, and that we really need to develop trust in what we've been through, all the experiences we've had, and realize that it's not so much about what has happened, but what it has made us become, or what we become because of it. And I found that really, really interesting, because a lot of people shun us looking at the past, and that the past is a horrible thing. And for some, there's a lot lovely memories, but the wonderful thing is that we're still upright, stepping on the grass instead of pushing it up. And we have an opportunity to evolve and learn from the past and move forward. And I thought that was just really, really wonderful way of looking at that thing. But he says that, the real secret to life, according to Steve Jobs, and I would agree, is finding something that you love to do. You absolutely love to do. And that goes for, being in love with what you do has to do with work, of course, but because it takes up a lot of our life. But it aligns with relationships and anything you do. But really, when you have a love for what you're doing, it doesn't even feel like work. It doesn't feel like effort. It feels like, like you just can't get enough of it. And so I would encourage everybody to keep looking, to, never settle just because, well, I get paid this much, so I'm going to tolerate that stupid boss. I'm like, golly, let's not do that, right? Life is about more than that. I believe we have more than one life, but if we don't, God, I would love to, I'm going to make as much out of this life as I can, right? And so the other thing he said that he had a quote that he summarized, but he said it went something like this, if you looking to live each life like it's your last day, as if it's going to be your final day, then you might just be right. So he kind of switched that. I agree, right? And if you look in the mirror every day and say, this is my last day, how am I going to live it? You're going to convince yourself that one day that it will be your last day. And so subconscious is pretty powerful. So watch your words, guys. But the other thing is that I like what he said. He said what he did, I think he said for 33 years, was he would look in the mirror each morning and ask himself that, was he going to enjoy or love what he's going to do that day, or what he had planned to participate in each day? And he said if the answer came back no too many times, then he needed to go find something different. He needed to look forward to each day, to move forward, to thrive and not survive, every day, right? But I think one of the most profound things he said was that death is by far the single best invention ever, because it reminds you have nothing to lose. We can't escape death. Nobody that we know of has escaped death. I mean, it'd be nice to know that we can. But, well, I'll digress for just a second on that. Can you imagine living forever? Which, it seems like a really cool thing, to always be you in this consciousness. But if you don't have any fear of checking out or living 70 years or 75 years without doing something, it doesn't give you that urgency, that expectancy, right, to do anything marvelous, because you got all time in the world. You don't have to do it now. You certainly got forever, right? I remember that movie with Justin Timberlake in it. I think it was called The Nick of Time or something like that, where they had an allotment of time that they could live. They all lived at the same age of 25, and they had credits of time, and once they ran out of time, they were done, right? But there was an elite group, of course, always an elite group, that had the opportunity or some kind of way of living forever. However, they could still be killed in accidents or by somebody killing them, right? So they lived their life very, very precariously because they wanted the forever to always be there. So they never really did anything. They never went out on a limb. They never jumped out of a plane, rode a motorcycle, all those kind of things. And I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to make a decision between those two, but I like the idea that I want to make a mark before I leave here. That's just the way I feel, right? But in that light, why are we waiting on something to happen instead of going to do it? Why are we spending our life in the cycle of eating, working, sleeping, consuming, dying, all that, right? And it's just like, why, right? Because that's not really what it's about, is it, to be human, right? And so the other thing he said that was really interesting is even those that believe in heaven, right, are not necessarily willing to die to experience heaven. If I saw a meme the other day where, this plane was on fire, screaming towards the ground, that picture of it, right? And, it says, if this plane was full of, I think it said Christians, but I'm not picking on Christians, but, you're not, nobody is on that plane clapping and joyous that they're finally going to get to go and experience heaven. Oh no, they're screaming and crying and not wanting everything to end. And so it's a test of faith, wouldn't it be, right? But, our time is limited. And, how you use your time is very important. It really, really is important, right? And it really, everything should be about you. I'm not saying you should not help others and not be involved with groups or organizations. But the point being is, we are number one. We were born by ourselves. We will die by ourselves, right? And so if we're taking care of ourselves, we can far better take care of others. I've been on my soapbox today, aren't I? Right? Anyway. And so it really is about having the courage to find something, determine what it is that you love to do. Build yourself a target. Give yourself somewhere to go, something to aim at, something to give you reason and purpose every day, right? That courage got to come from within you. It can't come from anybody else. And I understand that we like to model and mirror people that are successful in our eyes, right? But, you should be yourself because everybody else is taken. Yeah, you like that one, huh? Anyway, so, I encourage everybody to stay hungry, stay foolish in a lot of ways, and according to words of Steve Jobs, But point being, we are given this life to do something with it. And it doesn't have to be glorious. We don't all have to be, that NFL star and make it to the Super Bowl and win the game and, hold up the trophy. It doesn't have to be that. It's you competing against you. You don't have to be somebody else. Please don't be somebody else. You need to be you, right? And I understand there's limitations we have with laws and things, but you get my point. Choose a path that you want. Choose a direction you want. Choose a future you want. And put your nose to the grindstone and put the work in. Because no dream, no goal, or desire will ever come to fruition simply by thinking about it or speaking about it, right? That's part of the process. Words are powerful, but action is required. Belief in what you're striving for and attaining that is part of the equation. There is an equation. We can't just sit on the couch and dream it up, think about it, and boom, there it is, right? The scriptures, the Bible, for example, is full of it. I'm sure many other religious documents are the same, right? And so it's nothing new. It's nothing new. So we still have to work for what we do. But the biggest part of any success is to actually decide what success looks like for you. Make a plan, work the plan, believe the plan, right? And remember too that success is not a destination. Success is a journey. It will always be a journey. Much like building a fire. You start by igniting small pieces of wood, paper, whatever, and slowly start adding more, bigger and bigger pieces of wood until you have a roaring fire. And if you look at the roaring fire as success and you don't tend to that fire, guess what happens? It will burn down. It will eventually extinguish, and you're left with no success, right? So even if you reach what you would consider success, you still must mind the dream. You must continue to hone it, to excel in it, to learn, to grow, right? And then, and if you're happy with where you are with that fire, maybe go build a new one, right? And that's okay. I mean, I'm not saying one dream is all we have, and why we have the opportunity to have and to chase our dreams, we should always do that. I'm, just a little pat on the back here. I'm 62. I still go out every year and try out for the professional soccer team in town. Am I ever going to make it? Probably not. I mean, I'm way, way, way too old for soccer, right? For them to invest their money and time in. However, the point is, it's always been my dream to be a professional athlete. And soccer has given me the closest opportunity I've ever had to it. And so I go out all the time. And the purpose is not necessarily to get the dream, but it's to chase the dream. And in the process of preparing for the tryouts, I work harder, I train harder, I try harder. And so it makes me a better athlete, any way you look at it, right? And so, anyway, I'll digress. We're not here to talk about me so much, but I just want to use that as an example, not to make myself seem better or put myself on a pedestal. But the point is, we should always chase our dreams. We should leave others' opinions behind, because the 5 most dangerous words in the English language are, what would other people think about me? Or how do other people feel? Right? Who cares? Who really cares? Does it matter? Right? The only people that might, in my life anyway, matter what their opinion is, of course, is my spouse and my immediate family, right? Because we're in an intimate relationship and we do everything together, right? But outside of that, I can't see anybody's opinion ever really mattering. And, if nobody out there is paying my bills, buying my car, providing my livelihood, why would I care what they think? I'm not trying to be boastful or try to be mean. I'm just saying it doesn't really matter what others think. And it really doesn't. And so I challenge you to sit down, and figure out what it is you are trying to get out of life. And don't let life get past you and beyond you before you get old and you figure out, oh my gosh, I don't have the energy to do what I wanted to. Why you have the time, why you have the energy. And even if you do get older, still go after what it is you want. If you have the ability, let's do it, right? Anyway, I will digress. I will slow down on my language a little bit. Sorry about the soapbox, but I just feel like our society is really creating a lot of soft and unenthusiastic people for a lot of reasons, but we're not going to sit and delve on that right now. So anyway, once again, I encourage you, find your dream, work your dream, believe in your dream. Namaste, stay strong, and live your life.